Okay, guys, here's a tip for you. When you're new to guitar, you learn these. You spend a lot of time on left-hand stuff, don't you? You're memorizing. You're memorizing the shapes of the names and the fingerings of all these different chords. You know what? Uh, People tend to overemphasize that side of things, the fretting hand, I think, when really you can learn a few simple shapes for the left hand if you're eager to actually start sounding like you know how to play and start feeling happy with your playing. What you need to do is focus on the strumming hand or the picking hand, because that's what you do to these shapes that makes the music, right? So let me just give you a little example. Let's say that you're new to guitar. Everybody's fingers feel so awkward and they won't do what you're telling them to do when you first start. It takes a while for that to happen. But while you're developing those left hand skills, you can do some easier things, okay? And then make them sound like music using the right hand. Let me give you a quick example. You've heard that kind of sound before, and you might have heard it with a palm muted sound. That kind of thing. We're not talking about being a rock god or anything like that. We're just talking about having fun, making some cool sounds right away without worrying about all this left hand stuff that just frustrates you. You have to do that, but you don't have to do everything hard at once, right? You can pick something easy. Let me show you what I was doing here. Do you see where the dents are in my finger? There's 2 dents right there. And that's from pressing on the lowest string, the thickest string, which is the low E, and then the neighboring string, which is the A string. All I was doing, we call this a double stop. You're pressing down 2 strings, double stop, right? Now it looks like I'm pressing down a whole lot of stuff, and that, if I were doing something like that, we'd be talking about a full bar chord, and that's challenging, right? But try this and see if you can manage it. Just flatten out your finger here and lean it across 2 strings, the lowest 2 strings. And then just scoot that shape around. Okay? Now, I was just picking things at random there, okay? But you can actually make just that simple shape sound like music. Let me give you another hint too. If it feels too hard to get clear sound off both of those strings, like that, with just one finger, see if you can use a helper finger, the middle finger, temporarily. Eventually your fingers will become stronger. But whatever it takes so that you can start hearing yourself sounding musical, if it's not fun, why do it? And why wait for a million years till you can do everything equally well? Pick some things that let you sound good right away. Now, if you can do this, move it around. Notice what I'm doing. I'm hitting the strings by themselves. That'll tell me whether I'm getting good sound out of both strings. If I just hit both of them at once, I might or might not know that I have a problem. You might get one string that sounds good and one that sounds. Do you hear that buzzy sound? That just means I'm not. It could mean a couple things. It could mean I'm not close enough behind the fret to be able to play it without pressing real hard. here's a hint too, the closer you are to right behind the fret without being on top of it, the easier it is because you don't have to press as hard. So if you can do that, fine. If you can't, use a helper finger just till you start feeling okay. So surely with either one finger or two, you can get those sounds. Now, we're going to forget about this hand, right? And we're going to go over here to our strumming hand, our strumming and picking hand. I'm gonna just lay my the blade of my hand across the bridge of the guitar here, just lightly, actually, just to muffle it on purpose, because this is a sound that we call palm muting. You've heard it before in different recordings and stuff. It's a cool sound. And all we're going to do, now we're going to, instead of splitting it up, I mean, you can still do that, but if you know that you've got good clear sound on both strings, then you can start practicing a palm muted thing. And what I'm doing here, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm actually using the thumb to push through. I don't want to involve any other strings besides these two, the low E and the A strings. So I'm using the thumb and I'm kind of pushing slightly upward. So I don't want to collide with all these other strings over here. But practice this a little bit. Now I'm going to let them ring out. And now if I lay my hand down against the strings again, down here by the bridge, I get that palm muted sound. So, start moving this around. We'll go from the 3rd fret actually doing something that's not real complicated with the left hand, but you're getting a vibe with the right hand. What I was doing here, it changed. Did you notice how it sounded differently? I'm going down, 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 up, down, 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 up. So, you're not a guitar god, but you can do something that has a vibe and sounds kind of fun, right? So, okay. Those of you with sharp ears heard that I was knocking into the neighboring string. Part of that is my unfamiliarity with this lovely little Orangewood mini guitar that I just got a couple hours ago, and I love it. It's smaller. It's a small scale neck. I've never had a travel guitar before. I love this. I should have had one a long time ago. It feels slightly different. So I'm hitting a neighboring string that didn't need to be in there. But anyway, you get the idea here. Just if all down strums. Then you can start having some fun. But the point of this is to let you know how instead of all this overemphasis on the left hand and trying to get everything sorted here, which leaves you really, really struggling for a long time before you can really make music, do something simple with the left hand and focus in the early days on the strumming hand and on getting a vibe. That's where the music comes from. You can go back and keep learning shapes, keep improving your left hand skills so that you can eventually change these chords comfortably. That's fine, but don't put all your focus on the left hand. Don't put most of your focus on the left hand in the early days because it'll be very frustrating. You need to hear yourself making music right away, okay? So pick something easy for the left hand and then start exploring what you can do with the right hand. I'm going to do one more thing before we wrap up here. Same thing for the left hand, okay? Because we're minimizing the work on the left hand. But remember I said check to make sure you're getting clear sound out of each. Well, that also can be a musical thing. There's two things going on here with this hand, with your picking hand. I'm doing what we call alternate picking. Down, up, down, up, down, up. So on the E string, I'm hitting down, and then I'm coming up on the A string. The other thing that was going on was when I get ready to change from the 3rd fret to the 5th, I hit while I'm still down here on the 3rd fret, and then I slide to the 5th fret. You have to do this kind of quick. And it'll help you if you go from right behind the fret to right behind the fret, okay? You can separate that out by itself. Just to practice the slide. But then it sounds kind of cool when you go from this and then you can just actually just slide back here. Concentrate on this hand. This is where the music happens. Okay?